Before we get into the subject of today's video, I should inform you all that there is no PMQ stream tonight, which is a shame. We are all desperate to see how Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn go up against each other. Needless to say, we will have to wait until whenever. I don't actually know if the summer recess has taken place yet. I know Boris is busy negotiating and sitting down and having discussions with currently the Northern Irish and Irish folks about that border. Moving on from that though, because of that, I think I'm going to stream over on Twitch tonight. Maybe on my game channel as well on YouTube. I'm not too sure just yet. As always, when I do, I will link it in the community tab on this channel's main page. So watch this space, I guess. So the subject of today's video, now that I'm moving on, concerns Dodgeball. Yeah, strange, right? It's why I'm wearing this, because this reeks of injustice. But I'm sure there's a bit of context, and we should of course delve into it. The article comes from yahoo.com. I did try and archive it, but there's an issue with archiving, so it's a tiny URL in the description below instead. The article does have a video that covers this. I'm not going to play it. You know what will happen if I do. I can't be bothered with it. For the most part, I'm sure everyone who watches this has played Dodgeball, or a version of it. I did in school, in middle school, and I believe in the first year of secondary or high school. I quite enjoyed it. Dodging felt like the Matrix, and this predates the Matrix. It's how I perceive it now. Everyone thinking they're amazing at avoiding a ball, which was to me ironic since I was a goalkeeper when I played football. My job was to get in the way of the ball. But Dodgeball presented a fresh challenge. I quite enjoyed that. The reason that this has all come up is because of a 10-year-old boy who has been charged by a juvenile court for aggravated assault. And this comes about months after a playground game of dodgeball at the elementary school that this boy attended. The mother was the one that received this phone call, from the court that is. And even though the names are mentioned in the article, I'm not going to do that. The boy, who is being charged with aggravated assault, as many have pointed out, is black, and the injured child is white, with many calling this incident racist, while others, which include a number of celebrities, have called the charge merely ridiculous, and are coming to that charged juvenile's defence. Understandably so. Are we getting to the stage now when we go to our parents and complain because we got hurt at school playing a playground game, to the point where safety is paramount and children will no longer allowed to be children? Now, of course, things have changed since when I was a kid. We used to have conquer wars, competitions in fact. School held a competition and a trophy was awarded for the best one, for the winner of this conquer tournament. Now though, the same school does not do that, because of health and safety reasons. Instead, if you are to participate in any conquer-related competition, you must wear the equivalent to a welding mask, to ensure that your face is safe at all times, because little bits do come off those conquers as the shell is broken down. I partially understand it, and at the same time think, this is ridiculous. And the same applies to dodgeball, because dodgeball, when you get hit by the ball, can hurt if it's with a certain type of ball that is not one of those really soft padded balls you typically use. But then the teachers now have to judge whether or not it is acceptable for a kid to play with any ball whatsoever in any setting and enjoy themselves on the break time they have been allotted while at school. Jumping to the defense of the boy is well-known internet racist Tariq Nasheed. You know, wash yo ass. We was kangs, yo, who said some 10-year-olds were playing dodgeball on the playground at school. A white kid got hit with the ball. They then charged the 10-year-old black kid with assault. This is why we should not prioritise any of these border issues while our kids are racially targeted. He really does live up to his own self-dubbed #1 race beta. I personally don't think this is a racial issue. I should state, I think this is entirely petty. A kid was harmed playing a playground game. The kid then went to their parent. Their parent got outraged and decided to mollycoddle the kid and enable their getting very sensitive by then proceeding to seek legal action to make an example out of the kid, either to guilt their own kid into understanding what they're doing was wrong, or to tear someone else down for having fun, even though it ended up with someone getting harmed. Just gonna say now, this is how snowflakes are born. Parents and I know we don't like the word snowflake that much, but this is exactly what it is. And they're not just born, they're enabled and they exist through the parent. Yes, the priority of a parent is to protect their child, but do you know what you could have done instead? Something that could have in fact resolved this situation without having to escalate it to a legal proceeding. You could have just gone to the parent and said, look, your kid hurt my kid. Could you please have a word? You don't have to demand an apology. No awkwardness, no legal, rather unnecessary expenses that somebody's going to have to foot the bill on. No. Simply put, you're not wasting the legal system's time covering something that could in fact be dealt with within the school grounds like adults. The situation and the full context for this actually goes all the way back to April the 29th, when the boy who is being charged received a 1-day suspension from the elementary school he attends for allegedly hitting a classmate in the face with a ball during the game of dodgeball. The child reportedly sustained a concussion, but because of it being an accident, the boy did not expect punitive measures or for this to go any further, which is understandable because of the key word, accident. But the injured child's mother, who of course is declining to release a name, I am not going to read any names from the article anyway, so it's quite alright, says that her son had a previous medical condition that made him susceptible to head injuries. Like that's the fault of the boy who threw the ball. What are you trying to do? Guilt him for that as well? Oh, it's your fault my kid also had a pre-existing head condition. Okay, well, I get migraines every day of my adult life. Do I go back to primary school and blame Bobby Akehurst for the time he decided to accidentally slide tackle and catch me in the head? No. You know what I did? I got over it. I accepted that I had an issue, and I moved on. I didn't even tell my parents, by the way, because I'm a middle child anyway, so it's not like anyone notices. According to Action 7 News, the mother of the injured child said that sustained facial tissue damage to his face, had a black eye and a bruised nose. It's not like kids bruise easily. And that the son had already experienced similar incidents while engaging in physical activities at the school, and she said that she tried not to let it get to this point. But that doesn't mean it's this boy's fault. You are therefore, and I am right in assuming this, you are making an example out of a child and trying to put all of that blame, all of that misfortune onto that boy, which is totally unacceptable. You are dragging a 10-year-old's name, who is being publicly known, through the mud. And for what reason? Now, the case has gone to Wayne County's Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Maria Miller, who has said that this was evaluated by our Juvenile Prosecuting Unit, and it was determined that there was enough evidence for us to charge aggravated assault. I'm going to say this now, I fundamentally disagree, because of the word accident. You are therefore trying to turn something that was accepted at the time as an accident, and assigning it blame on a 10-year-old kid, because a mother is being an absolute cow. Because she couldn't resolve this reasonably at the school like most parents would. Allow me to demonstrate what happened when I was a kid. Whenever there was a falling out between two kids at school or someone had a fight, the parents all got brought in. And you know what they did? After they rolled their eyes and laughed at each other, they shook hands and told the kids to do the same. They told them to grow up. I don't understand how we have managed to get to a point where we seek legal action against a kid that already had pre-existing head conditions, for an accident. You are trying to put this on that kid, all of it, onto that kid, to tear him down. That doesn't mean it's racist. People are just pointing out the racial difference. Doesn't matter. Does, however, show that you are an absolute snowflake, and a moron that is seeking to blame to alleviate any burden on yourself.